more. I say it all the time. You've got your daily disciplines, but every single day starts at 0. Every single day starts at 0. No matter what happened yesterday that was good, today starts at 0. No matter what happened yesterday that was bad, today starts at 0, and every single day is a choice. And so you've got an incredible opportunity. You hear from guys like Keith Pike, an amazing presentation. You get a mindset like Joshua Smith walking up on the stage. You get a beast like Tara up here talking about just how you can go out there and dominate in business. I mean, yesterday was just absolutely chock full of incredible content. Today, I don't know how, but we're going to level it up another level higher. We've got Josue, we've got Veronica and Eric, we've got Jenna, we've got Sunit, and then we're going to end the day with John Cheplak. And so it's just going to be an absolutely amazing experience. You guys are in for a real treat. I'm going to turn the mic over to Ricardo, and I'm going to let him introduce your first speaker.
Awesome. One of the questions that I always get that I think is a challenging question is, what's the best tech stack? Everyone wants to know what's the best tech stack. I secretly hate that question because the answer is so elusive. Your business runs different than your business. Your business runs different than your business. Like, I don't think real estate is cookie cutter. So when you ask, like, what's the best tech stack, you really need to understand your business and then build the technology stack around what works best for you. It's not, this is the only tech stack that's going to work, I need to use this system, etc., right? I think that the way you develop a competitive advantage in this business and how you build systems that scale is your competitive advantage is going to be your ability to execute. Test a system, execute. If it doesn't work, pivot, test something else. But like rigorous execution and learning from your mistakes is how you get to your end goal faster. So our next speaker is the epitome of execution, and he's going to talk to us about systems that grow and scale. Josue Soto, welcome to the stage. Come on.
Yeah! Good morning. How's everyone doing? Man, you guys sound dead. Come on, guys. Good morning. Good morning. That's it. So today I'm gonna touch on, before we get started, I love that Grant and Ricardo touched on yesterday's presenters. They were amazing, from Joshua Smith to Keith Pike. They spoke a lot in reference to mindset. Mindset is very important when any type of business that you're running. Your mindset has to be clear. You guys got to understand and prepare yourself for what's happening presently and what happens moving forward. So today I'm going to speak a little bit about how I was able to break up with Zillow and 15 times my real estate business. Nothing against Zillow. I love Zillow. In fact, I used Zillow for a couple of years in our business, but we had to realize that there was something more out there that we wanted for ourselves as a team and as a company to brand our own brand, build our own brand. So I want everyone to remember this quote: success is no accident. It's hard work and perseverance, learning, studying, sacrifice, and most of all, you have to love what you're doing. You know why this quote resonates a lot into our journey? It's important that you guys understand that no matter what you do in your business or your everyday, you have to love and enjoy and be present in what you're doing. Without that, what's the purpose of you doing it? A little bit about our journey. We began our real estate career in 2006. The reason I want you guys to look at this chart is from 2006 to 2009, we started running in this business. We came in full throttle. You guys remember what happened at that time. Market was starting to plummet. But we realized that we had to start off by learning everything about the business. Because at that time, that's when short sales were being introduced. That's when BPOs, how many of you guys would work short sales? Raise your hand. So you guys that raise your hand, you understood what that is. BPOs, BPOs were introduced, but we started off with a small little brokerage. A great friend of ours, we spent like 2.5 years with her. And around 2009 and 2010, we decided to open up our own brokerage. That was when the market was just starting to tweak up just a little bit. Why we did it, I have no idea. But we opened up our own brokerage, I'll be honest with you. And we were, at that time, we were doing so many BPOs that we received our first REO assignment, our real estate assignment when it came, and we were very surprised. We're like, man, we don't know nothing about REOs. But we knew how to do BPOs because we were doing massively a whole bunch of them. So I told Rebecca, let's take that assignment. Let's learn this business. So we were able to do very well with the REO business for at least a year and a half. I mean, we crushed it. It was surprising. It was her and I only doing cash for keys. You guys remember all those days, right? So, and our referral business, back then, because of the short sales that we had done prior to the couple years, all of a sudden, those buyers and those sellers started coming back to us. So that's how we were able to build our referral business. Listen, guys, we run our business now to this day. We have 3 pillars that we run our business on. The first pillar is our referral business network is massive. Every single time my agents close on a property, I hold them accountable that they got to make sure that they get 5 deals out of that one deal, that client that they got. I hold them accountable to that. Why? Because when you're able to build your referral business, you're able to build your database, that's how you build your business. So from there on, we started building our REO business, our short sale business, and also our database. The second pillar that we realized in 2015, and this is, if you look at 2012 and 2015, you guys remember that was the rise of the unemployment. That's when people were losing their jobs. They was losing everything, homes. And at the same token, we were struggling with our business because we went full throttle into this business with no plan at all. No strategic, no strategies, nothing. We just took it and ran. That's all we knew. But you guys, everyone knows that without that, you're running a affiliate business. You're not even running a business. I think Grant put it up there yesterday. You're like that hamster in a hamster wheel. He put that graphic. And my wife will always tell me that. She's right there. So this caused us to really go through some very hard financial times. But from those financial times, we learned so much of each other. But we learned so much of ourselves. We dove deeper into what is it going to take for us to bounce back, but really build an operable, striving business, because that's where we all fall short of. I'm speaking about myself now. So that's when we started diving deeper in. As you can see, we ended up following chapter 13, bankruptcy. Those 3 years were the most dreadful years of our lives, but we learned so much of each other. We learned so much how to manage our money. We learned so much how to build the right business. And I am appreciative that we had to go through all those hard times to get where we are nowadays. And I truly believe that with failures, there's growth. Every single day, I tell my agent, do not ever be afraid to fail. Because if you are able to learn from those failures, you're able to succeed in this business. So back in 15, 16, and 17, we started working with our CRM. This is the first time we ever worked with a CRM. I'm not kidding you guys. That's when we started working with Sync. How many of you guys know what Sync is? CRM. So we did. Sync was like, back then, we loved Sync until they sold to Fidelity. Excuse me for saying that, but it's the truth. Once they sold to Fidelity, it was not the same. I don't know what happened, but at the end of the day, we ended up moving away from Sync. We were on Zillow. But we realized something about Zillow, that as successful as we were doing and converting with Zillow, we were still struggling in the sense that we realized that Zillow was actually leveraging everything that we worked hard for to go back and sell it to someone else and compete against my own partners and brokers in my own backyard. We realized that earlier back then, and we were like, okay, because we weren't sure back then of what we wanted to move forward to, what was the next goal that we wanted to do. That's when we realized that social media was becoming bigger at that time. It was starting to grow. So we realized that maybe this is a great opportunity for us to move from Zillow to social media, but dive deeper into how can you build your business through social media, the platforms. Until this day, right now, we work with KB Core. Of course, we work with Witly, like Grant said. I'm very biased because I've been with them 4.5 years, and I know what it's done for my business. But at the end of the day, guys, whatever you work with, whatever CRMs you work with, it doesn't matter. It's how you have to dive deeper into it and learn that system. And be passionate about learning it and run with it. So what was the problem? We had the systems, we had the leads, but we still had major problems in our business. And these are the problems right here. The first one was we lacked strategies. We had to understand what was our core values. When you're building a business, you got to understand what's the purpose of why you're doing this. What's the purpose of why you want to continue building this empire if at the moment you're still doing very successful, but you're still not feeling right with what you're doing. You still feel like you're missing something. So that's when we realized we had to understand what our core values are, what our mission statement are, what is our value proposition. That's the biggest part of your business. You have to understand what do you want to provide to your clients. So when we were able to understand and dive deeper into that and really sit down with some of our coaches and partners that we have, we were able to understand what our true core values are, what our value proposition is to our clients, to our agents, to our members, to our partners. The second thing is we realized that we did not want to work with Zillow anymore. At that point, we were like, no, we're done with them. And when we realized, we started diving deeper into understanding how you can run social media and all that, we still were missing some parts of it. We knew how to build it, but we didn't know where the leads were going to. We had to understand where leads were going to at that moment. So we wanted to customize and gain more exposure on our brand. Guys, let's think about this. Each and every one of us, doesn't matter who you're part of, what company you're part of, we're the brand. You are your brand. We have partners right now that have been in the business 32 years. She's right here sitting in front of me. And everyone, you just say Alicia Trevino and everyone knows who she is. Why? Because her brand is who she is. She built that for 32 years in the real estate industry. So that's why it's important that what you put out has to be who you really are. That's why they follow her, that everyone knows who she is in her own hometown because of the brand that she built and what she brought to her customers and her clients. And we wanted quality lead sources. That's the problem. Right now, nowadays, guys, I'm gonna share something with you guys. For every lead that comes in from our social media platforms, from the beginning to closing, we're spending $330 per lead. So imagine that. If you're able to spend $330 and you gain $12,000, I know that's what we wanted. We wanted to figure out a way how we didn't have to spend $2,000 or $3,000 for like 20 leads, and out of the 20, you're probably getting any. But right now, we get 100 leads, and we got 5 or 6 quality leads right there every single month, every single week. It depends on what we're doing. And understanding the market that we're in. So what happened next? This is when we ran into Grant about a little bit over 4 years ago. We ran into Grant when he was presenting at an event in Miami. And this is everything that he was speaking up in the stage was exactly what I was looking for. We wanted to create our own sequence of ads. We wanted to upload our client database. We wanted to retarget our leads and clients. We wanted to get more exposure out of our branding, which was important. And we wanted warmer source of leads and qualities. That's how you were able to build a database that's sustainable for market-proofing yourself in the times that we're in and understanding the market. So I was doing some research and I ran into these stats a couple nights ago, and they were so impressive to me that I tell you guys, if you want to look up stats, go to NAR. 77% of the real estate agents right now at a 1.5, 77% are utilizing social media for some type of business. But 47% of them are better qualified leads coming out of that. So imagine, 47%, the leads coming out of social media. Grant touched on this yesterday. So would you rather work with a 10% or a 47% quality lead? These are the opportunities. And 57% of the realtors right now, during these times, are utilizing social media, any type of social media presence. But this is where I was very blown away. 9% only create listings videos for their marketing. Who create listing videos for their marketing? Raise your hand. 9%. You know what's 9% out of 1.5 million real estate agents? That's like 165,000 only out of 1.5. Do you think there are opportunities out there for anyone? Yeah. Absolutely. Big opportunities. The next one coming up really blew my mind. 14% utilize Instagram only. What's the biggest thing right now? TikTok and what? Reels. So this is what we realized that we had to do a change in our business. We started going into short videos, and it has paid off for us. 9%. So out of 1.5 million real estate agents right now, 210 of them are only utilizing Reels and TikTok or Instagram. There's a lot of opportunities out there when it comes to that. And at 403%, this one blew my mind. When you're able to put videos and any type of marketing that you're doing with your listings, yourself, you get a 403% return on someone clicking on your ads before anyone else. I was blown away by that number. 403%. So those are opportunities that are out there right now. Now, a little bit about how we had to structure ourselves. Going back to the strategy. I had to learn, not me. I had to understand how I was going to run my operations in order for it to sustain the market shifts, any type of market shifts. So it all started with failures. We're going back to failures again. I knew that I needed some ISAs. I knew that I needed a CRM manager, but I had to understand how I wanted to run our operation to make sure it sustains any type of market. And through a lot of testing, we were able to realize and dive deeper in together with Grant and the team. We were able to dive deeper in and understand that this is the way it's going to sustain for my business. Not for everyone's business. I just wanted to share this with you guys, but this is the way we run our business. When the lead comes in, I'm not going to touch on this too much real quick, just over the top. When the lead comes in, when the lead is captured, it's automatically funneled into our lead assist ISAs. Our ISAs do a 7-7-15 touch automatically. That's not even counting our CRM manager that's actually following up with the same. My CRM manager is the only person that reports back to me, no one else. He is basically my direct contact to myself or my wife, Rebecca. But that's it. Not my team members, not anyone. Why? Because I want to make sure that if I start touching on all these leads, I wanted to see for myself if this is if this operates exactly the way I envision it, and it sure does. My CRM manager, I always call him, he is my secret weapon. He is the one that holds everyone accountable, including my team members, to make sure all this is getting done, including Grant's team. So if you guys have ISAs, I advise you guys. And by the way, Justin's out there. You guys can talk to him about that. Justin Nelson for Smith Rocket. You need to hire a CRM. And Grant and I, we'll talk about that more later because we dove deeper into the CRM manager. I was able to create a playbook. I'll share it with you guys what their responsibilities are. We actually created this CRM playbook ourselves, just working at it. So without systems, guys, you're not going to be able to sustain anything. I'll be honest with you. Because I'm telling you from experience. I never had this. It wasn't until I started understanding the importance of having systems. Here's another one. When an active lead comes in, this is the way the playbook is all set up. Same way. Appointment, CRM manager, lenders, ISAs, active buyers, active on contracts, active listings, under contracts. This is exactly the way my CRM manager and my ISAs run every lead that's basically qualified. I can share this with you guys if you guys want. I have Grant share it with you guys. Now we're going to get back to how we're able to succeed. These are some of the ads that we just started doing in short videos. Remember, I'll repeat myself, short videos. When we put this study together, I sat down with Grant. And by the way, when they talk about the market is shifting, no, the market shifted already. Grant and I sat down back in February, Grant it was, and we realized that I wanted to make a change. I flipped all my lead spend, everything. We went into the seller side. Knowing that it was going to cost me more per lead, but I said, Grant, let's just do it. I want to try it. So when we did this study, this case study right here, within an hour of dropping a text message blast, and I'll share with you guys later, we picked up 3 listings and we double-ended all 3 of them. Because we realized that we had to stay one step ahead of the game. Now, this shows you a little bit about our team percentages every year since we started working with social media ads, and we run a lot of ads through Facebook, IG, Reels, a little bit of TikTok I throw in there, and right now we're building out our YouTube channel. But every single year since 2017, our business has scaled 20% since we started doing this. And 2021 was the biggest one, 53%. And this year we're on pace to grow about another 20%. That was one of the, with Witly, we ended up winning the Millionaire Award. A couple of us were there at that time, and we ended up winning this. And I want to touch on this Darren Hardy. Who's read the Compound book? Raise your hand. I advise everyone to read that book. I read it every single year, at least one time. Darren Hardy, to me, is like my hero. I had to understand why it's important, why he wrote that book, and what was the purpose of that book. And he always talks about the importance of taking small steps and moving forward from those steps. And how important it is for you just to really take the initiative and keep moving on it, and continue moving on it, and just continue growing with it. So he goes on to say the accomplishment of any goals is the progressive accumulation and compound effect of small steps taken consistently over time. We have to take the first step and continue moving on it. A little bit about me. That's I'm an IG. By the way, my wife and I, we wrote a book called Married in Real Estate. You guys can look it up. Feel free to. It's free right now. And I wanted to leave a little bit of time to kind of talk about, ask any questions, answer any questions you guys may have. I didn't want to dive deeper too much into what it was about, what we've built. I want to see what you guys are struggling with and see how I can help you or guide you through some of your struggles. So Grant, it's okay to have around 15 minutes for this?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, any questions?
Yes. I got a mic for you so you can ask questions. Sorry. Need everybody online to hear.
Thank you. You said that you hold each of your agents accountable for 5 referrals from every sale. How do you do that?
Basically, when I know that they're in contract, I sit down with them and I ask them, okay, did you follow up with your client? Did you ask them? As a matter of fact, while you're working with them, you can actually just speak to them and say, hey, you know what? Let's talk about it. How's my experience working with you right now? Oh, it's been great. Well, I tell you what, if you can, just start thinking about some other clients that you think may need my services, and I'll feel free to follow up with them. That's all it takes. When you build that relationship already, it's just simple. So that's how you hold them accountable, and you make sure that they give you the names, they know who they are, and that's how they're able to build their database. Anyone else? Yes.
Could you talk a little bit about your team structure and how you started, specifically the first people that you hired and how you started growing?
Well, with my team at the moment, I'm actually the exclusive listing agent. That's all I do. I'm the exclusive listing agent on my team. Everyone else are buyer's agents. The way I have it structured is this way. Now, everyone doesn't structure it the way I do, and Grant and I had this conversation. The reason I wanted to structure it this way is because I wanted more control. Yesterday, you guys heard about a lot of the struggles with follow-up. I know Joshua Smith touched on it when he said, holding your agents accountable on follow-up. Raise your hand. How many people have to struggle with that? Following up with, yes. I was going through the same thing, and I said, that's it. I'm gonna stop this. So what I did was, that's when we went and we hired our CRM manager, and I said everything is running through our CRM manager. Why? Because I already knew that the agents were not following up with them. They were not updating their CRMs, nothing. So I said, okay, I'm gonna fix this problem. So what I did was, my first personal hire was my CRM manager, even though I had my ISAs, but he's basically on my payroll, my CRM manager. So, and I shared with you guys this is because I was just tired of chasing agents for updates and what's happening with this. So now what his responsibility is to follow up with the agents. He holds them accountable. Every other day, he's shooting them an email, a text message, basically calling them and say, okay, what's the latest with this update? So my advice to you is, if you're running a team with ISAs, you want either a data manager or CRM manager. I name my CRM manager, some people call them data managers, because it helps out a lot for the follow-up. And the way my team is structured, and to answer your question is, everyone that's under my team, they're all buyer's agents. But we do have one of our buyer's agents that he loves to dial. He's a dollar for life, you know. Our team, by the way, my team coached with Sekou that was just here yesterday. Dave knows that finale. It was important for my team, including my CRM manager, to be on those calls every single morning and every single afternoon. I wanted to hear the way they dial. I wanted to listen to their conversations. I wanted to prepare them. That way, when they face these obstacles or these dialogues or anything that they may be facing with a client, they know how to come back and really respond the correct way. So that was the first test that I put my team through. It's important that you guys are really, really diving deep into your team to build them, because the majority of them, listen, including myself, I hate dialing. I hate it, but you know what? I had to do it. We all hate doing something, but you got to do it. So one of the things I realized is, you know what? If I can fix this problem for my own personal team to be running the way I wanted it, then I'm gonna fix it. And that's the way I was able to fix it. But they're great at it. Don't get me wrong. When they get on the phones, they do really well. The only problem I had was with the follow-ups. So that's when I fixed it with the CRM manager.
That CRM manager is so key. We use the CRM manager still, even though we have our team that does exclusive follow-up on a lot of what we do. We see that sometimes the team will unqualify something, but the CRM manager will keep nurturing the relationship and convert that person to an appointment. Our CRM manager that works dozens of accounts with us, it's just absolutely incredible. And I think it was Tara talked yesterday about the 20 to 1. How many of you have more than 5 things to focus on in a day? Mm-hmm. How about 10? 10? How about 15? 20? Your CRM manager has one thing to focus on, and that is literally living inside of your database and making sure that no opportunity falls through the cracks. It is one of, there's a lot of effective positions, but for somebody that's jumping into your sales process, I mean, it's absolutely one of the most effective positions that we've hired. So we have any more questions? Yes, we had somebody in the front. Joe, I got the mic.
Oh, we're that first name basis?
We're on a first name basis.
That's the sub. Good morning. So question, you guys, like, just since I've joined, right, and seeing what you guys are doing and how you work as a team, like literally everything you guys do is a team, right? I'm not married or anything, but there are a lot of people here who are, and I'll ask this for the crowd. How do y'all keep that balance? How do you keep that, like, I don't want to use the word healthy because we're real estate agents, but how do you keep the balance between, how do you keep the balance between, number one, the personal life, and then also the business, and then how do you kind of like, decide what's Rebecca's responsibility and what's your responsibility?
Can I answer? No, I'm just kidding. I'm on a lot of calls with those
I'll
guys.
answer it first.
And this is how they balance it. Oh, Grant, that sounds great. Hey, Rebecca, go do this right now.
Well, listen.
He's laughing. He's like, well,
Yeah.
that's
Let me make sure I say this correctly. You're right, huh?
Should I give Rebecca a mic too?
So, Joe, you got me there. No. The way, to be honest with you, we want to be where I'm at right now, me personally, without my wife. I'll be honest with you. Her gifts are not my gifts. I'll be honest with you. I struggle with a lot. I'm a driver. I'm a D, and she's more of like structured. She understands what's important. She reels me back in to really understand what the importance of having systems. And it's all, honestly, listen, when it comes to business and you have a business partner, especially with your wife, it's like any other business, man. You have to respect one another. First of all, you got to love each other. Respect one another. Hear each other out. Because I tell you, I read John Maxwell's book, and I remember one of the key points that he touched on was that every single meeting, every time they had a meeting, he would be the only one speaking at the meetings. And his assistant was like 21 years old. And one day she just stood up and she says, Mr. Maxwell, can I say something? He goes, sure, why? Why do you feel like you can't just say it? He goes, well, every time we have our meetings, we always feel like we have no sayings in it. You're the only one saying something. And I remember reading that quote, and he says, at that moment he realized that he wasn't hearing his people out. And what I mean by that is, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what position you hold in your company, everyone's voice is important. So make sure you guys keep that in mind. Just like my wife, just like my team members. And it's important, no matter how you run your business or who you work your business and who your partner is, you got to have a voice and understand one another and listen to each other and respect one another. So,
round of applause on that one for sure. I think we have time for a couple more questions. Does anybody else have a question? While I'm looking for a raised hand, a funny story about Josue, because he's always like, hey, I meant what I say, he's always like, hey, Rebecca, go do this real quick. But he always does that to me too. So we've been together now for 5 years.
Yeah.
And we're still together, right? But I think it was like 4.5 years, like I would always be like, all right, Josue, I'll do it. And then I would have to call somebody and be like, hey, can somebody do this thing for Josue right now? I can't do it. And then I was on a walk. I was on a walk and we went through this conversation and he was like, all right, hey, well, why don't you do this really quick? And I was like, I kind of snapped. I was like, I'm not your assistant. I was like, I don't work for you. And he started laughing, and Rebecca's dying laughing, and then like we had a good ending of the conversation. And then at the end, before I hung up, he's like, oh yeah, Grant, don't you ever talk to me like that ever again.
No.
I was like, oh, yeah, I promise, I won't ever do that again.
But that's the friendship and relationship we have, man.
Yes. We got a
Anyone else?
question here.
I think you mentioned sharing a text message with us or something that you had sent out that got a really great response.
I'll have Brent share it with everyone. You can send it to you guys.
All right, I'll share it with you right now. You guys want this text?
You ready?
Okay, this information I'm going to give you is just unbelievably effective. It has had I think it's in the 13 markets that we did it was a 93.3% effective rate at generating listing appointments. So does that sound good to everybody? Yeah. There's only one market it didn't work. It was in Mr. David Finale's market. Raise your hand, David. And he's still here. We're still working on it. We were actually getting results with it, but you live in, is it Hackensack, New Jersey?
Bergen County.
Bergen County, not even close. Okay, so what we were doing is we were sending text and we were getting people to respond and engage and want to book time to meet, but they lived across the river in Manhattan, so it was not like it was kind of useless. So the other 12 markets that we did it in, it worked. So the text, are you ready for it?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Go for it.
You're all like sitting here like. Okay, so here's what you do. You go to your database and you go to all the people that are like more than 30, 60 days out that you are aware of, and you send a text. There's actually a couple. Maybe we can get them pulled up on the screen later.
Yeah.
But the number one text I think that we're sending right now is, hey, what is it? Sarah's in the back. I may have to get her to remind me what it is. There's two that are really, really, really effective right now. One is, hey, I've got somebody that's trying to buy a property right now. I think it's like between whatever your desired price point, like between $250,000 and $350,000 in this part of town. Would you be open to selling your house if I could get you a buyer today? Or if I could get you a buyer right now? Now don't send this text if you don't actually have people that you want to send it, but that's more of like a FSBO trick. We usually see the response rate is just insane. We send out this text, we get dozens and dozens and dozens of responses, but we do see a pretty consistent, it's like 1% conversational appointment rate. So if you send it to 700 people, you're gonna have 5, 6, 7 people that are interested in meeting with you. We send, that's one text, and I'm blanking now, of course, on a couple of the other texts, but that text is unbelievably effective. When COVID was happening, nobody could find a property, the number one text we were sending is, hey, I found a deal for you. Do you have a minute to talk?
No.
And that like sent the phones like crazy. That was another really effective text. And then there's 5 total that we rotate and we have a ton of success with. We'll get them and I'll try to figure out how
And
to
always
play
keep
them.
in mind when you guys send this text, do not send it to your whole entire database.
Yes.
What we try to do is send it to like 4,000 or 5,000 at a time,
Yes.
because what happens is you do not want any of your clients unsubscribing from your database. So when you bombard them or spam them, you know, so when you're able to just kind of throw a little bit at a time, it works better that way.
Yeah, this works really well. There's 5 things that I say that people have to do in order to have just like absolutely consistent success. That's what we're doing with Josue, and we've done for a while. Generate leads, remarket those leads, follow up on those leads. The third one is where content is unbelievably important. So them seeing you every single day, sending out a weekly or a bi-weekly email. You'll probably hear maybe a little bit today about the multi-channel marketing method that John talks about. It's creating a piece of video content, embedding that, sending it in an email. They need that valuable content that's going out to them at least every once a week, every couple of weeks. And then every 4 to 5 weeks, if we're doing those four things, we can send this mass text. And every single month, we've been doing this now for 6 months, every single month, he gets a listing, double ends a deal, gets clients from us doing that, and it's so consistent. So that text, I'll try to find more of them. Maybe Sarah can pull them up and I can read a couple, but I'll try to find them and I'll share them so that way that you all have them. But that text that I did give you is really
And
effective.
once you make contact with that client, send them a video text. Send them a video text introducing yourself. That's one of the things that I noticed that a lot of agents are not doing. My agents automatically, when they receive a text, they already know they need to send. The first text that comes out of them is a video text introducing themselves to the client, to the lead. Hey, how are you? I'm Johnny from the Soto Legacy Group. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to our call at 2 o'clock. Just wanted to introduce myself prior to my call. That's all it is. 4 or 5 seconds. That's it. Then even after they're done with the call, hey, thank you so much for spending that time with me. You know, if you have any other questions, please feel free to follow up with me. I'll be following up with you in the next 24 to 48 hours to get your home list ready. That's it. It's so simple. Sometimes we complicate everything, but I've learned, trust me, I was just like that. I didn't know sometimes what to say. And by the way, if you struggle with content, go to Jasper AI. My buddy over there, Keith Pike, introduced me to it, and it's phenomenal. Thank you. But Jasper AI is amazing when you're building any ads, anything that you want to speak on in reference to a home, or it's from social media, content, all the way down to like even a resume. You can do everything from there. So it's amazing. It's called Jasper AI. Any other questions?
We got time for one more question. If we got any more questions for Josue. Uno más. Might as well.
Might as well do it again. Okay. Your CRM manager and ISAs and any other support staff, what are your thoughts on virtual versus in-house?
Well, my CRM manager, he's overseas, but he's been with me over 2 years, so he's fully trained. I trained him basically myself, and we put him through the whole entire process. I love working with I'll be honest with you, my virtual agents, my virtual assistants are very loyal. That's one thing I tell you. When you're able to take care of them and really hear their needs out, because you got to understand, guys, these people are out there just like we are. They're trying to make a living. So build that relationship with your virtual assistants first. Understand who they are. Hear where they came from. I mean, my partner Sekou and I put out my virtual assistant to like a two interview process, and we made sure that the right person that I was picking was the right person for us. I wanted to hear his story. I wanted to know that, I found out he worked for the Red Cross. I found out that he was a missionary. To me that meant a lot because that's my beliefs, of giving back. So when I was able to make that connection with him, I was like, okay, this is the guy for me. So I personally, with me, I go either way. You can whatever you feel comfortable with. Our assistants, our Witly assistants are here too, right? Yeah, our Witly lead assistants are here in the U.S., but my CRM manager is overseas.
Give it a huge round of applause for Josue. Great job.